Hey, what's up guys? Sean here. So Aaron and I were supposed to go out to the National Forest this morning and hike in and test out some gear, but as you can see, once again, freaking storms coming through. It's gonna be high winds and a lot of rain. I don't know, sometimes you gotta go for it, and other times you gotta sit back and think about it and make the right decision. So I gotta think on this one. Sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet and go for it. Well, now we gotta go get Aaron. Let's get it. Yeah, it won't lift when it's in gear. Hey buddy, what's up? It's a little bit in front of me, and action. Okay, so this morning Aaron and I are back out here in the forest, and Aaron's trying out a new pack, and he's getting himself set up for camping. So he's got some gear we're gonna check out and set up, and then I think we're gonna talk about this pack that I've got and what I like about it and what I don't like about it. But first, we got to find somewhere to set up. Well, we made it out here to a spot where we're going to set up for a little while, and we're just going to go through setting up Aaron's stuff real quick. I think we're going to make up a ridge line for him real quick and get the tarp set up, and we'll go through that with you and kind of show you the steps that he's going to go through to get his kit prepared. So I think we're going to have to pick a couple trees and go ahead and decide which ones you want to go with. Those two over there, okay. And then we'll start getting this thing set up. Perfect. So the way I like to set mine up is between the two trees. I like to have about 5 good paces. And so Aaron's got the 2 trees picked out he wants to do. So right now he's setting the bowling up on the end of his ridge line. And we're going to get this thing strung up, and then we're going to put some prussics on it. Wind's kind of high, and it's actually getting a little dark again, like it might rain again, so we're going to have to get this thing set up pretty quick. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put at least 2 prussics on here, maybe 3, depending on what Aaron wants on his ridge line, but we're going to put at least 2 prussics on here, and then we'll need some toggles to use those prussics for his tarp. Okay, so for the prussic we're going to use tarred mariner's line. So for the prussics, we're going to use this tarred Mariner's line. It bites really good on the, we're going to use some tarred Mariner's line to use the, alright, so we're going to use some tarred Mariner's line to make the prussics. It's light, it doesn't take up much space when you wrap up your ridge line when you're done. Okay, so we got the prussics on there, and we're ready to pull this tarp across. Now, if you're interested in seeing how to tie a prussic, I'll leave a link in the card above, and you can go back. I've got a video on that. Well, I'll tell you what, this breeze is no joke out here. That was definitely difficult getting that tarp put up in that wind like that. But you know, now Aaron's got his ridge line set up. The next time he can just pop that ridge line out real quick and set this thing up, and he won't have to go through all that hassle. It'll all be ready to go. So in a few minutes, I'll show you how to wrap that thing up to where you can just quickly pull it out and it won't bind up on you. So, but now I think we're going to go ahead and set his hammock up under here. You did bring your hammock, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to go ahead and set his hammock up under here and show him how to get that all set up. And I think this thing will work out pretty good. So I'll talk to you in a minute about this tarp. It looks just like my DD tarp, but this is a Calnico or something like that. I think it's a Calnico, and it's a fraction of the cost of that DD tarp. And the thing is actually really nice. So we'll go through this thing in a minute and I'll show you about it. So when you first set this hammock up like this, there's going to be a lot of give in the straps. So Aaron's going to have to try this thing out and probably have to readjust it a few times to get it good and perfect, but that's all part of the game. Or maybe he'll just nail it on the first try. I sure hope this dead cat's working, because if not, you probably can't hear me. This wind's about 40 miles an hour out here. So, but as you can see, Aaron's, you know, up off the ground, but he probably needs to tighten that thing up a little bit more to give himself a little more distance from the ground, because if he's slapping this overnight like that, in the morning it would be stretched out enough that his butt would be on the ground.
Maybe that's the way I like it.
So one thing you can do to tighten your tarp, or can't talk. So one thing you can do to tighten your hammock up without cinching the straps up is actually put a ridge line on your hammock, and it actually makes your hammock more comfortable. So we're going to put a ridge line on his hammock real quick and see how he likes it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to put I'm going to just use a taut line hitch. And we're going to go from carabiner to carabiner on here, and we'll actually put the tension in this line, and that will actually put tension in the whole straps and everything, but it'll put a little more belly in the hammock itself and make the hammock more comfortable. So we had this whole plan that we were going to come out here and set all this stuff up and cook a nice lunch around a campfire, but I got a feeling that if we build a fire out here in these 50-mile-an-hour winds, we'd probably burn this whole place down. So I brought my little gas stove. I think we're going to set that thing up and see if we can make it work. For Christmas, Sarah bought me this little pack saw, and I thought we might give this thing a try and just see how it works. So it's really simple. It's all packed up here in one little tube. So it's got a slot in it that fits inside, just like that. Same thing here. Get this thing kind of lightly put together, don't tension it down. Like that. Pick which blade you're going to use. I tension it too much. Like that. Tighten that down. Just like that. Got a little buck saw. Let's try it out, see how it works. Boy, it bites good. Honestly, this log is a little bit big for this little saw. A couple of times I've already sawed and it hit my knuckles. Now this is a little more what it should be cutting, I think. Yeah, that worked out pretty good. Well, all in all, I think this little saw works pretty good. It's fairly cheap. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to go check it out. I think it's just a cheap one from Amazon. I can't even pronounce the name. Yeah, I think they're all basically the same saw. It's just rebranded, different names. So there's a bunch of them on there that are similar to this, but they're not very expensive. And honestly, it seemed like it worked pretty good. Mm-hmm. What tree? What is it?
Claw marks on there.
Oh, is there? Doesn't surprise me. Okay, so I want to take every precaution I can to keep from catching anything on fire out here. So I'm going to actually put my little twig stove together and put my gas stove inside the twig stove because I need to put a grill grate on top of it. So this is that little Lixada twig stove that I got. Get this thing put together and then get us some lunch going. I don't know, man.
gonna be all the heat right there in one spot. I think we might need to reconfigure.
Well, this wind's making everything a little more difficult. It's making cooking these sausages a lot more challenging. We just had to do what we can do, see if we can make it work. Alright, this wind is absolutely ridiculous. We have resorted to Aaron roasting these things over the fire like or over the little stove like they're marshmallows.
Shish kebab.
Yeah, they're shish kebabs. So it's what we got to do to feel safe out here. I definitely not building a fire in this wind out here. So we're both hungry. We want something to eat. So we're doing what we got to do to try to get some food. But I want to show you this tarp real quick. And it's actually pretty well built tarp to be like a $28 tarp. So let me show you this thing. This tarp comes in at about 28 bucks. It's a 210T polyester. It's got reinforced, like a rubber reinforced tie out points on it, just like my DD hammock. The DD hammock is same type of polyester. The only thing I will say that's different is my DD hammock tarp has almost like a little rubberized coating on the back of it, where this doesn't have that. But they're roughly the same weight, and this tarp itself is the same exact tarp just about as mine, same size as mine, same tie out points as mine, and my tarp is about $50 to $60 more than this tarp. So I would say that, now I don't know what this tarp will do long term as far as holding up, but I would say it's definitely well worth the savings to get one of these and try it out.
At least if you're just getting started.
Yeah, if you're just getting started, it would definitely be a good one to try out. So it's a Calnico. I'll leave a link in the description for this tarp too. Well, I brought all my gear so I could set my hammock and tarp up too, but honestly with this wind I don't think I'm going to try it. I don't see any need to. I think I'm going to just go get my Hidden Woodsman hammock chair thing that I always used to sit on the ground and just cop a squat here on the ground. Well, we got one of them done anyway. Aaron got smart and actually cut the things in half to cook them that way. Worked. Okay, so while Aaron finishes cooking up lunch there, I want to talk to you about my pack. So this is the Marting Top 65 plus 10. And overall, I'm really happy with this pack. It rides good. It definitely, I would say that the pads are a little thin when you carry it heavy, but today the way I carried it, it was perfectly fine. It's got plenty of room. You can load this thing up. A couple of things I don't like about it though. The pockets. They made the pockets on the side kind of envelope style. So meaning that they'll expand at the top, but as they go down to the pack, they flatten out. The problem with that is if you put anything round in them, as you're walking, it inches up the pack. And so you got to cinch the tops down real tight. And if you've got anything in the pack, it takes up the space in these pockets, and it makes it kind of hard to use. If these bottoms of these pockets were expandable, it would be a lot easier to use. Now the other thing that I've noticed that I really have had a problem with on this pack is they slip. As I'm walking, this thing slips here, and I constantly have to readjust it. So that's the only other thing that I see that I don't like about this pack. Now I'm actually seeing something right here that I'm not liking at all, actually. Yeah, wow. Let me show you this real quick. So as bad as I hate to say it, I'm gonna end up having to send this thing back, because if you look right here, the stitching is actually coming out of the straps, and that sucks. the other side is doing the same thing. Now that really sucks. I really like this pack. But do you take a chance to send it back and have them send you another one and have it do the same thing? I don't know, I've got to think about it. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to stay here. This wind blowing like that through these pine trees is starting to make me a little nervous. It's blowing hard. Back to this pack. You know, it sucks. This is the second time I've carried this pack, and I carried it heavy the first time, but I wouldn't say I carried it overloaded. So I don't know. I'm really disappointed in that stitching coming out of there. I don't know, I'm gonna have to give that some thought. I'm gonna have to give that some thought and see what I think. If it's worth replacing it with the same pack or just look and try to find something different. I don't know. It's a shame though, I like this pack. Well, you guys missed that. Camp systematically started taking itself down by the wind. The wind gusted real hard, pulled the stakes out of the ground and launched them through the air. Aaron found one way over there, and so we had to jump up real quick and pull the tarp down before it destroyed it. So unfortunately, I think we're going to end up having to pack this thing up and call it a day, as bad as I hate to. But we'll get out here another day and test some of this stuff out too. But now I think the smart thing to do is go ahead and get this thing wrapped up and get on out of here. So like you saw Aaron doing there, when you get a new tarp, when you go to put it away, stuff that tarp down into that sack. Don't try to fold that tarp up and put it back folded. Everywhere that there's a fold leaves a crease, and that will prematurely wear out your tarp and make it start leaking. So if you stuff it down in that sack, you'll never stuff it down in there the same way twice, and you don't have to worry about prematurely wearing out your tarp. Okay, I want to show you a way to hank up your paracord here. Super simple, and it'll make it where you can pull it back out and it won't hang itself up. So I'm going to use this bowline just kind of as a, you know, because that's probably what you're going to want to use first. So you're going to take that thing and put it in your hand. Now, don't mind the dirty hands, but now you're going to run the line around and around like that. Don't run on the back side of that or you'll lock it in. Always keep your first end, your bowline end, to the back side. So we're going to go around, around, just like that until you get it all hanked up. Now you're going to leave yourself a tail to wrap with. Okay, so after you get it hanked up like that, pull it off of your fingers and hold it together. Now we're going to wrap this thing around. You're going to capture it, wrap it around just like that. Now your last one, bring it under, pull a loop up, bring your tail under, and lock it down like that. Now, if you did it correctly, you should be able to grab your bowline and it should all pull out and unravel without getting tangled up. Really simple. Alright guys, so I know this was all over the place. It bounced around a lot. But I did get to show you a few things, and you know, sometimes this is just how it is out here, so take that as, you know, how it is. Sometimes it doesn't always go the way you want it to. So it literally is like hurricane force winds right now. So we're all packed up. We're gonna go ahead and get headed out of here before we get a pine tree dropped on our head. So appreciate you guys watching. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on your way out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. back and get the camera.